we have to talk about what I think is the epitome of why us conservatives are against DEI, right? Nobody cares what race you are, what gender you are, anything about that, if you can meet the standards of the job required of you. That doesn't appear to be the case, though, unfortunately, in the police academy at the NYPD. The New York Police Department is recently found itself inside of a scandal. Terrell Anderson, who led the NYPD's Cadet Assessment Division, was recently transferred out of that position into housing, which is a whole other thing. Why don't they just fire people? I don't understand why, if you work a government job, you just get transferred to another department, but that's a different complaint for a different time. Well, turns out this guy let 70 candidates stay in the police academy despite them failing psych requirements, according to the New York Post. And it gets even weirder and crazier than that. Now, obviously, the NYPD has a big deficit that they're trying to fill. That's no excuse for lowering the standards and keeping 70 people on the force in the police academy that shouldn't be there. Where it gets even weirder is this. I'm laughing already because I'm trying to pronounce this name. A woman who was the highest paid cop on the force when she retired amid a sex scandal, making about $400,000 a year, Quathisha Epps, was also involved in this. Our panelists are already laughing. Was also involved in this pseudo scandal, or this possible potential scandal. Apparently, according to the guy who was removed from his office of cadet assessment, got a call from her. According to him, he got a call from Quathisha Epps, who again, formerly highest paid cop in New York City, saying, hey, you can't kick my nephew out of the police academy. Now, her nephew, named Emilio Anido, remains in the academy despite getting suspended last month for allegedly slapping another recruit. In other words, this whole systematic thing of lowering the standards and in some sort of nepotism type of way saying you can't kick my kid out or my nephew out because, well, they're my nephew and I'm also involved in some sort of a scandal and he's going to stay in the academy despite slapping people. This whole thing is crazy. But the bottom line is this. This is what we're talking about. No one cares what you are, what you like, what you don't like, what you look like, what gender. It doesn't matter. Can you do the job? And right now, the NYPD looking at hiring these new recruits, keeping 70 people who failed psych exams on board. Well, that is exactly what we're talking about, what we don't like. Standards slipping. Here to comment on that and so much more is political commentator Aaron Wexler and host of the Stephen Gardner Show. It is him, Stephen Gardner. Guys, thank you so much for joining us. Really appreciate you taking the time.
Absolutely.
Good to be here. Sorry for laughing into your ear as you were trying to get through that segment.
I was gonna say, I thought I was gonna pronounce it correctly, and I get to do this as a guy with a weird name, admittedly, Joe Bob. I get to laugh at Quathisha Epps. Aaron, though, this seems to be the biggest thing, right? We all talk about DEI, and a lot of libs are like, well, you don't like diversity, equity, inclusion. No, not when it's forced on people. And considering the fact that a lot of these people are able to stay in the police force and NYPD despite not meeting the standards, well, this is exactly what we're talking about, is it not?
It's exactly that. And this is corruption at its finest, right? This is nepotism at its finest. This is also just trash reality TV behavior at its peak form. Like, that's what we're seeing right now. I also do just want to give you a shout out. I really was laughing in his ear as he was trying to get through that segment. And I think your audience should know the professionalism that you maintained, as I could not get through hearing the description, because it almost seems like reality is stranger than fiction at this point with this kind of a story.
Seriously, because I was reading it through and going like, there's another twist, another turn. This guy says he kept these people, but he was forced to keep these people by this other lady who was also embroiled in her own sex scandal and retired as the highest cop on the force. What in the world, Stephen, is going on at these institutions? Do you think this might be the story? It might be the catalyst that gets the libs to understand, oh, that's why they don't like the whole DEI forced inclusion thing.
No, I mean, I think it's just going to lead to more recruits. People saying, wait a minute, I can be a cop and make $400,000 and I don't have to be in my right mind. I mean, this lady had 2 jobs, right? You get to make 400 grand. All you have to do is take criminals off the street and not get involved in a sex scandal, and she couldn't do either of them. Now she's saying, wait a minute, my nephew, who is not mentally capable of being a police officer, we should probably put him on the streets of the most dangerous city in America, where they have people literally wanting to kill Jews. They're pro Hamas. I mean, I've never seen more rallies for ridiculousness than in New York City, and now they want to put people on the streets that are mentally incapable of handling the job.
Yeah, rallies for ridiculousness. I wonder if that's going to be the new slogan of New York City. But yeah, again, the whole thing is just it. Aaron's right. It sounds like you're watching reality TV.